And good evening, sim racing fans. We are back for round number 3 of the eRacr Roval Racing Series live tonight from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway after visiting Texas as well as what was it a week ago?
Pocono.
Yes, it was Pocono a week ago. All right. Good to know, guys. Of course, my good partners, Sean Butler and Joshua Mendoza, along with you. And, guys, the excitement keeps building in the series. We get to see everything that happens when you put multiple classes of NASCAR stock cars against each other. And, Sean, I think we're in tune for another good night tonight.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, 2 great races, and looking to make it a third tonight. So this track should provide a lot of excitement. A lot of passing zones, a lot of high speed areas on the track, as well as some slower speed corners. So it's a mixed bag of stuff tonight, and going to be interesting to see how these guys navigate through it. And I'm excited. Can't wait to get this thing going for sure.
I'm excited too, and Joshua Mendoza, I'll turn it over to you. This probably being a little bit different than what we've seen the first couple of weeks. Some unfamiliar territory at Texas and at Pocono, but here at Indianapolis, maybe not something these guys have done before, but it's something we're going to be seeing in real life very soon.
Yeah, I mean, we got this race coming up in real life, so people have done it before. We've been here before with NASCARs in real life, which means they've pretty much been on the service racing as part of the official racing for a little bit now. So people might have experience here, some people might not, but regardless, I'm excited to see who has the practice, who's done the practice, gotten themselves up to speed with the current setups, as well as whether or not that experience helps them out long run, short run, however you want to handle it, Blake.
That will certainly be the factor. We know that we have seen that time and time again in this series. But with that, let's go ahead and look at some keys of the race that we were able to come up with and things that some of our drivers may need to be looking at and some themes that we've seen over the last couple of weeks when it comes to running these road courses. There you have it on your screen. First one is patience, patience, patience. We've seen that come in time and time again with our midway cautions. Short pit, or do you wait for that stage break? Pit road closes just beforehand. Obviously, strategy comes into play with that as well. And I think you guys can take it away from here. How much practice and infield to the oval transition, very important here in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
practice for sure is how you definitely kind of grade these guys, Josh. And we see time and time again, the more laps you get around these tracks, the better you are. So you've been mentioning this while we're off the air. So practice is huge on these cars, and we're going to see who put the most laps in tonight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said it before, but going back to patience, patience to the infield, from the infield to the oval transition, getting on there, getting on throttle with the right amount, all of that. That's going to be your key point. There is so much straightaway on this track, and getting the best transition from the infield to the oval is going to be critical for making passes. And if you're at the last lap and you're racing side by side, to get that win.
Going to be very important. And by the way, we've done this a couple of times, right, where we have one of our broadcast partners go on the track and show you a little preview of what these drivers are going through. This week it was Sean Butler. He did a tremendous job. And let's go ahead and take you for a lap around Indianapolis.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the world's most famous racing circuits, home to one of the greatest races in the history of auto racing, the Indianapolis 500. So much tradition at this track, so much history, and tonight it plays host to round number 3 of the eRacr Roval Racing Series. And of course, we're not using that world famous oval tonight. We're using the road course. That's right, Indianapolis features a 13-turn road course filled with high-speed corners, filled with slow, twisty, technical corners, and these drivers are going to be tested in every facet of driving tonight. So Josh Mendoza did it last week, as we saw at Pocono, and he was gracious enough to bring out the number 77 eRacr Toyota over to Indy and let me have a couple laps around the track. So I got a chance to see what these guys are going to be up against tonight, and let's go ahead and see what these drivers are going to have to tackle here as we take a lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. And as we make our way through what is turn 1 on the oval, this is actually going to be the final turn, turn 13 on the road course tonight as we head down the front straightaway past the yard of bricks. Excess of 185 miles per hour, hard on the brakes. Listen to the wheel hop. You hear all that going into one. These guys are going to have a tough time handling that. Down to first gear through turns 1 and 2 right here. Then we approach turn 3. Kind of have to feather the throttle here, keep it in first gear. Over to turn number 4, hard on the brakes. Full sweeper, got to get back in it as quickly as you can. Then you're going to feather the throttle here through turn 5. Now this is turn 6 right here, still in first gear. This is a double apex corner, kind of. You know, you see me kind of drift up a little bit, then cut it back down on exit. Then a quick right-hander into turn number 7. And this is a crucial part of the track right here. If these guys can get the power down efficiently and not spin the tires, they're going to gain a lot of time down this straightaway. Hard on the brakes here into turn number 8. Here, more wheel hop going on in the background. Got to get it a little lower there, Sean. Come on. Tight right-hander into turn number 9. And the tightest corner on the track, turn 10. Hop over that curb and into turn number 11. You can cut this portion of the track right there where that concrete is. It will not give you an off track. I know, I checked. And we're coming back on the oval portion. This is turn 12, short shift to third right there, as you heard. Car wants to get very light through here into the final corner, turn 13. Got to kind of late apex it, get down, try to get those right side tires below the white line. Still loose on exit, and that is a lap around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course.
Hey, Josh, wake up.
Sorry, Sean. Your voice is it just put me to sleep. That was
Yeah, I'm
Sean.
sure that's what it was. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Was that a Masters update or something?
Yeah, were we on the golf course? What happened there?
Appreciate
good
the
video,
throwback
though.
there, Blake.
Sean, joking aside, that was a great video.
I mean, there is a golf course. You can see it right there on the screen.
Hey,
It's right
yeah,
there.
look at that. Let's go hit the links after this, Oh my goodness.
All right.
Weather, 94 degrees is the track temperature today, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be your air temperature. That's going to mean quite a bit of grip on the track today, a lot better than we had at Texas, but rather similar to Pocono, mostly cloudy. So you're going to have track's not going to be heating up a ton. Clouds are going to keep it covered, and the wind speed 9 miles per hour to the west. So I'm not really sure what that means as far as what straightaways that's affecting, but it's going somewhere, and we might see it affect something.
Certainly that's the case. You can even look out beyond the racetrack and see how much of it is bathed in sunlight right now. So that is going to be a key factor. It's going to be constantly changing. You see that wind going to play its part in cooling the track down as well. See some wonderful fairways here just behind the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But the drivers have completed their qualifying laps. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. How about making their debuts in this series? Both Vicente Salas, the fastest time, a 1:29.221 second lap time, gets the best of Casey Kerwin by 0.3 of a second. They will complete the front row. Matt Danson, who's a back-to-back winner in Class A in this series, will start in third. Seth the Merchant making his debut tonight as well. He will start in the fourth position. Fifth will go to Christian Peterson, a 1:31.149, so a little ways off of our race leaders, as well as Liam Sheen in sixth. Last driver to take time in this class, James D. Gibson. And, of course, we will slot the rest of the A class right behind him. John Whitendorf, Andy Trupiano, Lucas Cram. Sean, complete the top 10.
Last two in A class will be Cole Woody and Philip Bupp. I'll be rolling off the final row in the A class. Front row in the B class, Matt Taylor dominated pretty much both races so far for B class. No surprise there. He will start on the pole. Gary Weaver will start in second. Brian Sabelski will start third. Arthur Reimer will make up the second row. And finally, last but certainly not least in B class, Justin Malillo will roll off 17th overall. Starting on the front row in C-Class, David Grantham. Talking about another guy that's dominated their class. David has been the truck to beat in C-Class. Will it be more of the same tonight? And Vinny McDonald will roll off alongside him in P19. And finally, last in the top 20, Dustin Ping in the number 1 truck. We've lost Josh Mendoza.
I'm so sorry. I left the mic on mute. This is top tier production quality right here, folks. Jeremy Root at 74 next to Christopher Colon. Behind them is going to be. Is that it? Is that just what we got? Oh no, DG Swiss and Corey Deal, 26
there's
and
like
56.
8 more drivers, Josh.
Okay, Clint Roberts in the 87 and Hunter Reeve in the 044. I swear I've done this before. Riley Dunn in the 77 and Brandon Watkins in the 22. You guys are not helping this right now. And Thomas Fensler in the back, 21st.
All right.
There we go.
He did it.
One note for the starting grid. Philip Bupp registered in the wrong vehicle and will not be getting points today. Unfortunately, is a C class or a C or B class driver, but registered in the Cup car, so not going to be doing that.
All right, so that 12th place on the starting grid will be vacant right now as the field rolls across onto the oval portion. If you remember watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series last season, this is backwards to where they would traditionally be running. The pace car is going to pull off onto pit road here, what would typically be the exit on the oval, but will be the entrance here for tonight's race. 60 minutes, no lap count, and of course that 30-minute caution right at the halfway break will split up this race. Pace cards off. Glad to have you with us for the eRacr Roval Racing Series tonight as we get round number 3 underway. Green flag is out and we are racing at Indianapolis, and they are door to door as they head off into turn 1. Vicente Salas and Casey Kerwin duking it out.
Look at this though, 3 wide. James Gibson trying to pass 4 cars going into turn 1. He's not going to be able to do it. He gets into the curbing there. Ambitious move to start as there's contact between he and Liam Sheen, who got one off in the back. It's Cole Woody, I believe that was. And
he just retired.
He immediately disconnected. So it's a quick race for Cole Woody. But Vicente Salas is going to get the whole shot here through the first couple of
quarters. We got the... Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a block. Brian Sabelski right around. I think he said I'm done. I spoke to him earlier in the race, and he was not sure how confident he was going into this race. Everyone else seemed to have faster lap times, but obviously not.
Oh, another spin right here in the trucks. The 26 has gone around. The 3 of Vinny McDonald. So DG Swiss, as well as Vinny McDonald, early trouble here. We've barely made it through the infield section to the long straightaway from turn 6 to turn 7, and already we've had 2 or 3 accidents on lap 1.
No,
man. That is something. We haven't seen this many accidents so far on the first lap in any of the races, so I guess this one is going to be the race that everyone kind of starts to mix it up here. But going on to the oval now, part of the track, Vicente Salas still with your overall lead. Casey Kerwin right behind them. Expect these two. We've seen Matt Danson dominate, but Casey Kerwin and Vicente Salas are very good on the road courses in these stock cars as well. So which one of these guys will come out with the win, who knows? But don't be surprised if any of these guys take it, as hard on the brakes going into turn number 1. Kerwin still all over the back of Salas.
And Kerwin not letting him get away. This is the heavyweight battle that we thought we would see when these 2 drivers elected to run this race tonight. Further back in the field, though, this is where it's going to get interesting, Sean, and Josh, because we had a lot of drivers, particularly in the trucks, who qualified better than the Xfinity cars. And this is something back at Texas and at Pocono as well, that you really saw both of these classes really able to mingle with each other. But tonight, I think the trucks may have a slight advantage over the Xfinity cars tonight.
Yeah, I've seen them. They've been going a lot faster. The 49 car of Arthur Reimer.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, man. I was about to mention Arthur Reimer having a hard time keeping it on track, as Justin and another Xfinity car just can't seem to keep it on there. But exciting also about these truck cars, or trucks. Wow, truck cars. Wow, what am I talking about? The trucks is we got a new sponsor on board with them. You'll see it right there, Ballistic Packs. They are they're sponsoring the truck series, so it is the Ballistic Packs C class from here on out. Exciting new sponsorship. Glad to have the support from them, and we'll see what they can do today.
See what they can certainly do, as David Grantham right there leading the number 1 truck. That is the lead for the C class. They would be running 13th overall. They are ahead of 3 Xfinity cars, all but Garrett Weaver and Matt Taylor, who right now run about 10 seconds behind your race leaders. But this is the best battle we got going on. You see 4 trucks in a line. Big block being thrown by Jeremy Barreau on Hunter Reeve right there in the 044. He's going to give him a little shove down into turn 1. We'll see if they can make it through this really tricky section, turns 1 and 2. They come at you quick, hard to go side by side through this section. The 1 in the 74, almost a little bit of contact there, but this is a 4-truck battle for the lead in C class.
And Bro is your winner last week at Pocono. So, and it's off. Grantham is into the gravel, coming off of turn 3. So that's going to hand the lead to Bro. What happened there to Grantham? Looks like he just overshot the corner a little bit. It's early in the race, but an unforced error by our leader in trucks. David Grantham's going to go from 1st all the way back to 6th, it looks like, in class. That is I don't want to say devastating, but not helping him at all to start this race off.
Well, it's one of those things he can recover from, right? The trucks are so close, so competitive right now. You have 6 or 7 of them that are all within 5 seconds right now in the very early portions of this race. And of course, we have seen this before where some drivers, especially in this first half, as you see the 74 of Barreau go a little bit off course there. He's able to right the ship, though. If you are going to make a mistake, you want to make it in the first half of this race. We've seen that over the first couple of weeks, that you can recover with enough time if you make a mistake in the first half. But if you make it after that halfway point, it's going to be tough sledding from there, as Jeremy Barreau goes from 3rd to 1st now to lead the C class.
There you go. Look at that side-by-side action going down the front stretches. They're gonna go side-by-side all the way into turn number 1. Okay, a little bit of a camera play with the camera there, but they're gonna go ahead, work their way through turn 1 and turn 2. Gotta tiptoe through this section of the track. It's tough. I mean, you've seen the best of the best, David Grantham, who's been just dominating the C class, not able to keep it on the track. So not as easy as they make it look, Blake.
Definitely not. This course can challenge the best of them, especially when you've seen a lot of turns that may not be off camber, but they certainly feel that way. A lot of lefts, a lot of rights. A very slow portion here from turns 1 all the way through into turn 6, and then of course, or actually to turn 7, and then you have the long straightaway here from turn 7 to turn 8. You're getting up to speed there. There's a lot of high speed sections of this course as well as very low speed, so it's not consistent where you're constantly on the brakes or you're constantly going a certain speed. You're going fast and then you're having to hit the binders very hard, so a track that can lend itself to a lot of accidents, as we've already seen here in the opening laps.
Yeah, you guys would know that already if you didn't sleep through my video, so that's something you would have known already. Thank you guys. But up at the front in A class here, we got a battle for 3rd going on between 2 teammates. Logitech Altus Esports, Matt Danson right there, Seth DeMerchant. Danson just got by him, and as you said at the top of the broadcast, Blake, Danson 2 wins in a row, has looked fairly dominant in both of the races, but he's got a lot more competition in here now, so it's going to be a bigger challenge for Danson, as just ahead of him, Salas and Kerwin starting to drive away, driving pretty similar times here. Salas with a 1:38.09 to Kerwin's 1:38.74. So Salas looking to be the car to beat already, but we're going to see just how much he can keep that up as these tires start to degrade. But right now, no one's looking to be able to catch that 55.
Not for the time being, at least. Kerwin at least staying within range to keep up, maybe get a little bit of a tow throughout the track at the high-speed sections. We know these two are some of the best of the best. I think anybody that knows the name Casey Kerwin, who, by the way, ran in a 4-hour endurance race solo earlier today at the Charlotte Roval in an MX-5, and he won class. So Casey Kerwin trying to go back-to-back here as far as this day is concerned. But right now, that last trip by, lost about 2/10 that time to Vicente Salas as they go into turn 1. A little more cloud cover starting to envelop this speedway.
Oh, man. The 1 in the 77 truck here just got absolutely demolished. The 1 car lost it. and got collected into the 77, and the 77 is over the radio, absolutely furious with the one car, asking him why he wasn't keeping it off, on the track, or just kind of collected up. Tempers are already getting real hot here, and we're not even 9 minutes into this race. My goodness.
This race has been quite drama-filled, at least in this early portion. And again, I think that goes back to what specifically is so difficult about this course: the high-speed sections to very, very heavy braking zones. And what's also true is not a lot of runoff, in terms that you have a little bit of runoff, but it's all grass. So if you get any of those tires barely off of the course, it's going to be enough to really upset that car getting into a really tight braking zone. And guys, the calls over the radio, they're still going at it. These drivers are they're not happy with each other, to say the least.
Yeah, and the main thing I would say with the 77 of Riley Dunn, who is the main one that was upset, Dustin Ping lost it going into one of the left-handers down the back straightaway. And instead of keeping his foot on the brake and trying to not go across the track, he stayed in the throttle and kept the rear tires moving and had nowhere to go. 77 to Riley Dunn had nowhere to go as Dustin Ping was spinning across the racetrack. So I kind of say I don't blame him for that. So if you're typically wrecking in traffic, you want to hold the brakes and not potentially drive into people avoiding. So tough break for Riley. Still on pit road. Dustin is still going, but considerable amount of damage done to both trucks.
Well, and it's hard because there are no cautions aside from that halfway break. So on the flip side, you want to get back going in the right direction as much as possible, save as much track position and as much time as possible, as we see a change in the C-Class. Corey Deal able to pass Dustin Ping. That pass taking place in turn 13 as they work onto the front straightaway. That is for fifth overall in the C-Class. Brian Sabelski, he took an early spill on lap number 1. He's trying to work his way through that Truck Series traffic and is doing a pretty nice job of working through some of those slower trucks. But at the moment, how about this driver? He's been consistent throughout this series. Right now, he leads B-Class. That is Gary Weaver, who sports about 2.5 seconds over Matt Taylor for the B-Class lead.
Look at that. That's impressive. Matt Taylor, I was talking to him last night. He wasn't too confident in the setup. He says it just has no turn in it. Not real happy with how the car is currently driving. But other than that, Matt Taylor's still not letting that be a bother to him, keeping a second place running. And Gary Weaver able to make that car turn just a little bit better than Matt Taylor at this time. Let's see if they can keep that maintained. Is that going to be the status quo for the rest of the race, or is Matt Taylor going to be able to maintain those tires and use the lessons learned from the last 2 races to get the win here today?
Well, I think Taylor, you have to really know that Taylor's going to be strong on the long run. He has been every race that he's been out here, and he actually ran down Weaver quite a distance that last lap. He was about 0.8 almost better than Gary Weaver, so this is setting up to be a nice little battle for the lead in B-Class here, Sean. Well,
speaking of nice little battles here, you kind of see me reacting to it. I'm kind of looking around at the 7 of Andy Trupiano. He's currently fighting with John Wietendorf in the 24. This is for 6th in the A-Class. Now, Liam Sheen was right there with him as well. He's put a little bit of distance on it, but these guys were nose to tail down the front straightaway, and they have been very tight for the last couple of corners here as Trupiano starts to close in. We mentioned at Pocono, guys, too, the draft is a big part of this series, especially in the A-Class cars. And we'll see Liam Sheen. Maybe he can get a little bit of an advantage, but on the straightaways and on the corners, the NASCAR Turn 1 here, it's going to be a very interesting way to catch these guys. So if we could see if Trupiano can make up some ground going into 1, that is your best passing zone for sure. So we'll see if they can do anything with it. But Sheen looks like he might have just enough distance on him.
Keeping our eyes on that battle and that battle for the B-Class lead as well. But here comes Wietendorf down to the inside. Side by side, they go into turn one. They'll have to sort this out quickly. Trupiano not giving an inch. Wietendorf on the outside. Now we'll have the preferred lane as they work through turn three. Long sweeping right-hander here. A little bit of gap that he can make up and into turn four. Wietendorf will take that position, so slot him up one spot, and now he sets its sights on that 0-2 of Liam Sheen.
I just got a huge piece of information. Our C-Class, Ballistic Pack C-Class points leader has just said that they are done for the race. That's David Grantham. He is out, and they are allowed one drop race, but if you're able to make the race, you don't want to make that your drop race. I'll tell you that much. So that's a tough one to take.
That is, when you talk about season long and how, again, we're running Formula One style points within each class. So winning, being up front makes such a huge difference. But also, in another sense, guys, that makes it a lot easier to make up that advantage. If you do have a bad race, you can go out there and get a lot more points than everybody else in your class, and you can end up making that up if you have a couple of good races. So we'll see if, for David Grantham, if this will be that drop week as we look at Liam Sheen right now, nearly into the wall off of turn 13, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, Liam Sheen has been very consistent so far. Grantham, he's going to try this? I don't think so. He gave the look that he was going to try it, so to kind of maybe getting ahead of Liam Sheen a little bit. These three guys are the closest on the racetrack here besides our leaders, who are just now starting to hit some lap traffic, so we'll keep an eye on that. But right now, Sheen is definitely not safe by any means. Wietendorf all over the back as they make their way off of turn three. But Trupiano's keeping pace with these guys as well, so Sheen not out of the woods yet by any means.
No, and of course, one thing we want to note that is a little bit different this week in regards to lap traffic. Obviously, over the first couple of weeks, we learned a few things about when certain classes are getting lapped and how that can affect the outcome of a race. If anybody in a truck or so, Josh, they'll be able to get that wave around.
Yeah, absolutely. They new rules implemented for this week. You can get a wave around now. They used to not be able to. They changed it in order to encourage a little bit more of, having strategy when it comes time to pit. You don't have to worry about going a lap down when you go down pit road to get your tires before the caution comes out. You can get that back if a mistake is made. But at the same time, it's an opportunity to, if you're already lapped down and you think you can come down pit road, get some tires changed, and get out before you go a second lap down to get that lap back under the halfway break.
Good to see that change, and we also had a change for the B-Class lead. Those last couple of minutes, Matt Taylor did make his way by Gary Weaver. You can see on your screen the A-Class in blue, the B-Class in green, and the trucks, the C-Class, highlighted in yellow. You see Vicente Salas making his way by the slower traffic in the 49 machine, as Casey Kerwin has not let him out of his sights. That gap is still within half a second, and that's pretty much, Sean, that's pretty much where it's been since the drop of the green flag.
It definitely has. So, I mean, I was looking back at how the lead in B-Class changed hands. Gary Weaver actually overshot turn one, and as I said earlier in the video, that wheel hop kind of played victim there. So he was into the grass, and that allowed Matt Taylor to get by. So good job taking advantage there. But Salas, we were talking about it earlier. Early in the run, he was definitely the car to beat. But maybe as the tires start to go, we're in the double digits now on laps completed. Casey Kerwin might be keeping those tires a little bit in better condition. So Salas, definitely the car still to beat, but Kerwin has not let him out of his sight for the entire race. So we'll see if he can make a move. He's definitely, I was going to make a DRS joke here, but we don't really work with NASCAR cars. But Casey definitely within the draft, and it might be only a matter of time before he actually tries to make a move into one.
Well, and you also have to think about, Sean, there's dirty air, right? I mean, that is something that when you're going at these high rate of speeds, I don't think you would see it that much, but really through turn 13, when you're carrying a lot of speed, you get off in 12. And again, this is the somewhat older configuration of this racetrack. So through what is considered oval turn 1, you're going backwards. It's turn 13 on the road course. You're pretty much going all the way around to oval turn 4. So you're carrying a lot of speed. That's really the one section in this track that I think dirty air could potentially be a problem for Casey Kerwin, but otherwise I don't think it will. As you see Dustin Ping going a lap down there. Again, all of these trucks that are in a position to be lapped will be waved back around when we get to that halfway caution in about 12 minutes. But also, guys, I've been watching that battle for third. Matt Danson, Seth the Merchant. They're not too far separate either. They've been within about half a second, the Logitech Altus Esports teammates.
They're getting real close, and oh goodness, Seth is just going over those rumble strips like they're nothing. He's making them all on his own. Behind those two, we still got the battle for 5th place, which has been heating up, going through 1 and 2. These guys were just side by side, racing real hard, getting all sorts of up into each other's bumpers, ready to go. They're having a good time. And John, were you guys saying that, what is it, Draft's better or worse? Because right now, John is closing up to the back of Liam. Oh my goodness gracious, Liam loses it, but he has the inside line and a nose on John, who's going to go ahead and make the pass here. Liam gets a little bit deeper right there. Oh boy. Oh my goodness gracious, Sean, this is wild. Oh, John almost loses it.
Now, Liam's going to say that he was just taking the defensive line immediately off of turn 13 there, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But Wheatendorf still hasn't lost 6. We thought with that little bobble there going into 1, Trupiano would be able to kind of get a nose underneath, but he's able to maintain the position. As Sheen gets a little bit of grass there off of the corner, here they come into turn 6, and Sheen, these guys are just all over the place right now. There's no distinct groove that they're running. As we look on board, looking out back at Liam Sheen's car, he's still approaching some lap traffic as we see just how sideways these guys get as they make their way down the backstretch into turn number 8. This could be a passing zone as well, but definitely, Josh, the front stretch going into 1 seems to be the zone to make these passes. As Wheatendorf gets a little wide going through the corner, that might open the door for Trupiano here.
Yeah, this is going to open the door, but there's also going to be working through this lap traffic. I'm shocked to say we're already lapping some members of the field. This might be, I feel like that's probably the quickest we've gone through and started lapping people. I'm actually really, John gets, that's that transition I told you about. He's got to keep it together. He's getting those rear tires all sorts of warm, and he gets through Indy turn 1 so much better than Liam does. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's able to close that gap as we got a side-by-side battle with the trucks right ahead of him.
Yeah, if you saw in the video there we had the inputs on the vehicle there, so you saw, especially coming back onto the oval portion of the track, it gets very, very light in all 3 of these cars. So that's going to be, as we have one in the grass just behind these guys, that looked like it was the 44 of Lucas Cram. He's able to keep it going, currently sitting in 8th overall in A class. But these cars now, especially when the tires go away, we've mentioned it ad nauseum right now, handling is a humongous factor while getting back onto the oval. That could make or break your race. And for this battle right here, for instance, with Casey Kerwin, all he really has to look for is maybe a slight spin of the rear tires from Salas as they go back onto the oval, and that could be all Casey needs. So we're going to see here, Josh, this battle's heating up a lot, but Salas, can he get back onto it? A little bit of a slide, and Kerwin's still all over him. It might be only a matter of time here.
Well, he about found that mistake at the beginning of this lap through turns 4 and 5. Kerwin was right behind Vicente Salas. I was about to actually just talk over you guys and think that, hey, we got a battle for the lead going on. We may have it anyway, though. Here he comes up the inside. Casey Kerwin into turn 1. They make contact. Kerwin sliding through turn 2, able to collect it up as the 2 Ford Mustangs come together. A troublesome moment for the both of them, but they end up finding a way. They seem seemed pretty cordial on the radio, but that was a big moment there. Damage for both machines. What a save by these two drivers.
Absolutely. That was insane. I mean, if you would think, oh, Vicente would be over the radio, just furious. You're bringing my bumpers in. You're going to cause a tire rub. No. We got the comp caution coming up soon. No big deal. Let's keep racing. Let's get at it. Casey's just having a good time. Vicente's having a good time. Honestly, I think everybody's having a good time right now. This is awesome to watch.
I would agree with that, Josh, as Casey Kerwin, again, about collected the 55 there. But these two drivers, they've raced each other enough. They know how good the other one is, and they know that they both can race clean and hard and with respect. So a little bit of a mistake, but I think both drivers will be okay. And plus the damage, I don't think is anything significant, not anything that'll bring them back to the rest of the field, even when we get that competition yellow. But we'll have to see if anybody, it's been hard to see anybody make that move in turn one. Kerwin was going to try to do it. You see him get a little bit of a draft here. Often we're getting this nice little onboard shot here. Not going to have enough, but it looks like Kerwin, Sean, just able to outbrake Vicente a little bit more into these tight braking zones right now.
It looks like it, as we could tell from our high FOV roof cam there. That was good. But Casey, you're talking about the damage, Blake. I mean, that might play a factor into how the draft works in these cars now, because we mentioned these cars very aerodynamic dependent. And now with this damage, especially for Salas, that's going to hinder his speed on the straightaways, and that might be even bigger advantage for Casey Kerwin. So another question could be for these is if these guys take the full fix of the damage under their pit stop. So could play a lot of factors into that. That one move that Casey made could have some implications for this halfway break in this race, but going to be quite telling to see what both of these guys elect to do at that time.
Again, the time winding down here for the first half before we get to that competition caution. We've seen this battle brewing as well. This is for 5th overall and 5th in class, as Liam Sheen leading John Whitendorf, who has made up quite a bit of ground the last lap or so to try to get back up to the 0-2 Ford. Another thing to mention here, and of course this is why the multi-class racing is so great, that we've seen the Cup car has been pretty strong, but I think with the long straightaways we see from turn 13 to turn 1, from turn 7 to turn 8, just the amount of speed that the Cup cars are able to carry, I think, Josh, this is probably the biggest advantage we've seen between the classes B and C. Very similar pace tonight, but the Cup cars are just on another level with all these straightaways.
Oh my goodness gracious, is it incredible. Like man. I said,
what a block.
Whoa! Oh my god, this just looks like IndyCar. Oh wow, with all this sort of drafting down the straightaway, I love it. This is incredible. My goodness, where else can you see this other than the eRacr Roval Racing Series?
Nowhere,
right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there you go. So as you see them racing side by side, you were mentioning the speed differential is insane, as James D. Gibson, the first Cup car, is going to go a lap down. That's now going to take about half of the field, about one lap down. Now, this is a great week for that wave around rule to come into effect. People can short pit and potentially get that lap back and stay in it.
Well, we'll see. Again, that warning for pitting going to come very soon from race control. Again, the pits will close just a couple minutes before that halfway break, so we'll have to see if anybody makes a trip down pit road before that caution is thrown and maybe tries to play a little bit of a track position game. I think tires are way too important. I feel like every week track position hasn't really been the call, but of course, this is what we saw at Pocono as well, that everybody was really careful to start the race, getting into turn 1, and then after that, when we restarted for the second time, they were not. They were ready to go. They were aggressive. They were ready to get after it. We already saw a couple spins early on in this race. So, Sean, we may see more of the same when we get them racked up and going back once again.
I'm looking at our overall lead here. Casey Kerwin going for it again. Salas kind of had a little bit of a bad entry into the road course. Kerwin on the outside. This is going to be tough for Kerwin to make this pass, and Salas has the preferred line. Can he stay there? He can. Now he's got the preferred line. Kerwin maneuvering through the corners greatly. Salas with a good exit. He's able to maintain the lead. What a job by Vicente. Got the experience managing the tires. We saw it last night in the Slide Job 300 that Salas won, and keeping that conservative tire use in this race as well. What a job by Vicente to keep the lead there from Kerwin.
An amazing example of defensive driving right there. Will hold off Casey Kerwin, at least for the time being, as pit to close in 1 minute was the call just a little bit ago from race control. And so the pit's going to come to a close here. I don't believe we would see either Salas or Kerwin make that venture onto pit road at this time. And certainly they'll pass right by it. They won't be able to go back down once again as they pass the slower traffic. But an incredible battle that I think favors Sean, the 55 early. And then it seems like the long run speed right now is with Casey Kerwin and that X-Set Gaming Ford.
It is. All he really has to do is stay in the draft of Vicente Salas, and that is all he can do to kind of keep up right now. But Kerwin looks to have a little bit more pace through the road course portion of the track here, as we have one off behind them right there.
49 of Arthur Reimer.
Arthur Reimer has been in trouble before, so unfortunate for him again. He's able to keep it going. But like I said, Blake, Kerwin just needs to find that safe spot to pass. Tried to force the issue a few laps ago, as we saw going into turn one. Little bit of contact there made that pass not possible, but so narrow through the road course here. It's going to be very tricky to pass safely, at least, as Salas, we just saw earlier, so good at defending his position.
Pit lane has been closed, so nobody else will be making their way down there anytime soon. Salas, Kerwin, your top two. Matt Danson holding serve over Seth the Merchant. He's actually stretched that gap or interval between the two of them, the two teammates, to over 10 seconds right now. So Matt Danson pretty clearly in third, at least on track for a third consecutive podium to start this series. You see Andy Trupiano still trying to be a part of that battle for fifth. He gets by John Weitendorf directly behind him, so move him into sixth, and not sure if he's going to have enough to go chase down Liam Sheen here just before we get this halfway yellow thrown. But nevertheless, Trupiano trying to rebound up, started back in ninth, and has worked his way up to the sixth spot.
These guys still trying to get those last bits of positions before the halfway break here. Andy Trupiano was sitting behind John Weitendorf for, it seemed like eternity after in that battle, so good to see him finally able to get by. He might not be done. He drafted up to Liam Sheen right there as we get a look at the battle for the overall lead. Kerwin again uses the draft on the NASCAR Oval, IndyCar Oval portion of the track to get up to Salas, and he's running out of time to get that clean air. But you mentioned earlier about dirty air, Blake. That could play a big factor into the passing zones here as well, especially on the oval. That little bit of dirty air could affect these cars going through turn 13, and just that little slight push off the corner, maybe they have to lift a little bit more than the car ahead, could maybe ruin all momentum they have for that passing zone going into one.
I think that's the case, Sean, because we've seen time and time again how good Kerwin is through the infield section, and then as soon as he gets to turn 13, which you got to think right now they're going 140, even with the huge slide that we just saw out of Casey Kerwin in turn 12, they're going upwards of 160. We know how effective dirty air is at this racetrack, and just before they're able to pass Jeremy Barreau right there, who would be second in the C class, the caution flag is thrown, and the iRacing pace car going to catch the field and park itself in front of Vicente Salas, and the rest of the field will come around and try to catch back up. So a lot of action there in the opening 30 minutes. I think the A-Class this week has shown up. We've seen a lot of great battles in C-Class, but the A-Class battle this week definitely going to be a good one, and especially for Salas and Kerwin. I don't really know who to pick. It all could come down to who gets off of pit road here first at this halfway break.
It definitely could. So we've been seeing these guys who has the most speed on the racetrack, but the pit crews could play as big a factor in this race as the drivers do. So I think I think it is a toss-up, Blake. I mean, between these two guys, at least, whoever gets out ahead of the other might win this race, because Casey Kerwin's been all over Salas, just hasn't been able to make the pass yet. But, you know, roles could be reversed. If Kerwin's able to get out ahead of Salas on the pits, that could be all Casey needs to get it done.
And Seth the Merchant has looped it under caution here. It looks like he was just showing off for his friends, and I think he may have had a beer too many, as Seth the Merchant took a little bit of a spill there through turn 7.
Now, I will say that's the first time I've seen Seth mess the drift up. So he was
yes,
trying
I
to
will
drift
say
around the track.
he is often a drift master after races. And I've never seen him actually loop it before, so I guess that goes to show you how much they're lacking rear grip here, is that even he wasn't able to hold on to it.
You see stuff you never seen before in the eRacr Roval Racing Series. How about that?
First time here as Seth the Merchant, who was 4th in the A-Class, finally starting to catch the field, who had not quite caught back up to the pace car yet. They were still trying to make their way around. But you'll see Salas, of course, Kerwin. You see another truck up there pitting with this group, and Matt Danson. Really the first 3 cars that'll have a good battle. But again, this race could come down to pit road, and Kerwin making up a little bit of ground on pit entry, so it'll be interesting to see who gets off first.
Oh, Salas almost slid through his stall. He might be too far to the right. He and Kerwin might be too far to the right.
Him.
How in the world? I don't know how Kerwin's not too far to the right. That he must have the thinnest pit crew of all time. Salas is going to get off of pit road though first, but man, I don't know how they got both of those sets of tires on the right sides of those cars.
I don't either. I guess Casey Kerwin must have a pit crew full of Casey Kerwins to be able to fit that car. That was amazing that he was able to fit that in. But also, guys, we are here. We are at Indianapolis. I think it's pretty safe to say that maybe, you know, during this break, you know, we just, I don't know, take a little break to take a drink of something. I mean, it's only fitting, right? I mean, yeah. As long as it's not skim. I don't want to be in this booth if y'all are drinking skim.
Listen, it's not
2%.
milk. It's not milk unless you're drinking the chocolate milk, man. This is the greatest beverage on planet Earth.
What type of chocolate milk? Are we talking Nesquik or Fairlife, man? That stuff is amazing.
The Fairlife is good. This is local.
And it's got protein.
It does.
More protein, I guess.
Can't go wrong with it at any time.
Now I know why people like to drink it in Victory Lane. I mean, Victory Lane's sweet, but now with a glass of milk, that's even sweeter.
See, like, no, they never really drink it, right? They, like, take a sip of it and then, you know, throw it all around or whatever. They never really drink it, which, I don't know, after getting out of a smoldering hot car for 3 hours, I don't know if milk's the first thing I'd want to drink either.
You think, what temperature do you think that milk is when they give it to them? Is it cold or is...
It's gotta be
for a while.
I feel like you can always see the condensation on the outside of the glass, so I'm sure they keep it pretty cold.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
They flash freeze it before they give it to them.
2%, by the way, Blake. 2%.
That's good. 2% whole milk. I think that's where you got to be.
1%. That's
all right. Pit road is now
1%. You start to lose me. Skim, you lost me. Might as well be drinking water at that point.
I was gonna say pit road's open to the lap cars, and it looks like they're getting service done. A couple of them are they're getting a little bit of damage repaired, and they're about to exit as iRacing has issued some waiver rounds. All right, real quick, as aside from this wonderful tasting milk, 2% by the way, let's talk about fastest lap. F1 points are in effect, which means that you do get a bonus point for fastest lap. Fastest lap is per class. So that's going to be important. And the points battle right now is not super close for the A-Class, but there is a drop week, so it's going to be cut at least a little bit for Matt Danson due to that drop week. But can we take a current look at the points if those are available?
Yeah, we can do that as Josh never fails to bring up the fastest lap. I think that we're just going to have to call that the Josh stat because I feel like every race, guys, the fastest lap, and of course the best chance for it to come is right when the tires are fresh after a caution flag. But as Josh was saying, not much of a close battle at the moment in A-Class, and Danson not going to probably score as many points as he has the last couple of weeks, but should be enough to maintain that lead. It'll be interesting to see out of Salas and Kerwin who's able to take those 25 points. They'll immediately vault themselves up into around the top 5 in the A-Class points. But the B-Class, very competitive. Early exit for Brian Sabelski, or early trouble, rather, for the driver of Brian Sabelski. But Weaver and Taylor doing battle at the top. It'll be interesting to see who takes that win. And then, of course, over in the C-Class, things have been really tight there in the C-Class the whole year. But David Grantham, he was the one with an early exit in the points league. So is this
Panetto not even here tonight?
Yeah, so is this an opportunity, especially for Jeremy Barreau, to really take advantage and try to take a little bit of a lead?
Points battle is almost as tight as the space between the techs there in the C-Class box. That was definitely goes to show how tight that is. But going back green here, so this, as we've been saying throughout the series, might be where the race is won. We've seen all hell break loose in the restart here, especially going into turn 1 at each track. So which one of these guys will get the proper traction to make the move? So we're going to find out here. Pace car's off.
We'll see. Vicente Salas with the lead, has control of the restart, and what a great job he does at getting 2 or 3 car lengths in front of Casey Kerwin as they head down into turn number 1. You can see them fanning out as they go into turn 1, 2 wide behind them. Matt Danson holding off Liam Sheen, who has the inside to turn 2. As they work through turn 2. How about turn 3? Sheen has him clear, but a big slide out of Sheen. They look 3 wide. Is now Andy Trupiano trying to be part of this battle as well?
Am I seeing triple right now? All the Logitech G Altus cars in a line. Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, and Matt Danson.
Kerwin in the back to Salas.
They keep it on the track.
The boot scooting boogie is Vicente Salas just took a massive hit from Casey Kerwin. You can see the rear end damage and the front end damage on Kerwin's car as they work onto that straightaway towards turn 8. A huge hit.
Oh my goodness, Casey is yelling that they need markers at that turn. He didn't know where he was going. Vicente understanding, which is a little bit surprising. Normally race car drivers get overly heated in there, but both of them respecting each other and knowing each other's talents, having a good time.
I mean, you think Salas is starting to get sick of this, because this is the second time Casey has just done damage to his car for no reason. So I think third time's the charm for Casey Salas. I think the first 2, she's going to let him get away with. Third one, if it happens, not so much.
Vicente is totally okay with it as long as he maintains P1. As soon as he goes into P2, he is going to be furious with Casey for what he did.
Well, he's going to have a lot to say about that, as you see further on back in the pack. Christian Peterson, Liam Sheen still going after it. Sheen lost a couple of spots there after the restart. And now Salas through turn 1 is off.
What happened
He just missed the corner. That was all by himself. Now here comes Kerwin, as well as your 2-time winner, Matt Danson, who has a chance to try to take the lead. So a very troublesome opening laps after the restart for both Salas and Kerwin.
Oh, you can tell Danson right now is in attack mode. He sees both of these guys have sustained a considerable amount of damage. Danson's car is completely spotless, and he's got teammate Seth DeMerchant right behind them. So I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we see some teamwork maybe out of the Logitech G Altus guys here. Both of them right there, ready to pounce.
Going back to my Josh point for fastest lap, this is the greatest time for Casey
Kerwin.
Oh my goodness! What happened? What happened to these tires? Oh, they're turning white.
Casey Kerwin's tires have seen the end of it.
This is incredible. This is awesome.
But this is not good right now. The teammates are side by side. They're going to lose ground as DeMerchant looking to pass Danson. And here comes Christian Peterson. He's looking to split him.
he was thinking about it. The three teammates not helping each other out, but we love it up here in the booth. Logitech, I'm sure, is loving what they're seeing right now, unless they all bin it in turn one. Let's see. Christian Peterson, he's going to back up the corner on the inside, so he'll fall on back in line. DeMerchant up into third. Danson falls back to fourth. Peterson in fifth.
Oh man, that was something. Now the Logitech Gialtas guys aren't doing themselves any favors with this. Look how much time they lost to Vicente Salas just trying to pass each other there. That's going to require a lot more catching up by them. But just behind these guys, you see how to frame the same three guys, Liam Sheen, Andy Trupiano, John Wietendorf back there, have not left each other. This whole race as Trupiano gets right to the back of Sheen. We got battles all over the place in the A-Class right now.
I was about to say the A-Class is taking the cake right now. B-Class and both the trucks pretty separated right now. Not a ton of drivers all that close in the B-Class right now. Matt Taylor sports a huge advantage over Gary Weaver. It's about 45 seconds at the moment, and leading the trucks 14 seconds over Jeremy Barreau is Hunter Reeve right now. So B and C class, at least at the front, pretty well determined. But right now, we just can't take our eyes off of A class. There's so many good battles going on. Still, the Logitech Altus Esports crew leads the way. The little train of orange and blue Chevrolets working around Indianapolis, nose to tail. DeMerchant leading the line. Danson starting to work him over, though.
One small note, Lucas Cram in the 44 Valvoline Chevy has disconnected from the server. Looks like they had internet issues, so unfortunately was racing, I believe, in the, I want to say 8th position or 9th position, as Liam misses the corner, and we got a side-by-side battle, all three wide through turn one and two. Oh, geez.
We need split screen or something, because these two battles, you can see just these guys are battling right now. This is for 6th. Just ahead of them, the Logitech guys are just saying, "All right, we're just gonna go at it here for third."
Oh my God!
Turned him. Liam Sheen into the gravel, hooked in the right rear. He had been running 5th the whole race, and Trupiano turns him after he got loose. No braking marker there.
Oh man.
Yeah, John just came over the radio. He's like, "I'd like to report a murder." That is huge for Liam. That's gonna ruin his points day. I think the Logitech guys they just missed a corner over here too. They're going to keep it together. This is an incredible battle all over the track. It just keeps going.
Peterson going to have the move. He's going to go to the bottom 3 wide here through 11 and 12, and he pulls it off. Moving up on the lane, Merchant and Danson make contact, but they still save it. I mean, this is some great stuff right here.
Are we sure these guys are teammates right now? Because they're supposed to be working together. They're losing more and more time to Kerwin and Salas, but they're providing by far the most exciting stuff. And look at Danson faking like he's going to the inside of Peterson. And I think Peterson locks up going into the first corner.
Oh man!
Danson's off now to Merchant. Now they're 3 wide again, if you count the grass.
This might be a 5-way battle here for third if they keep this up.
My goodness gracious! You know, someone needs to go and call and tell them this ain't media day. You guys don't need to be side by side the whole time. Wow!
Danson crosses over Peterson, or DeMerchant, I should say. So DeMerchant doing a good job hanging on, and Christian Peterson said, "I've had enough. I'm just backing out of this." Might have blown a tire, the amount he locked up going into turn 1 there.
I think actually he had a slowdown penalty is what happened right there, because he's the one who missed turn 1, so he had to slow down, give that time back. So through all of that battling, guess what? Andy Trupiano and John Wietendorf have caught right up to this battle for third. Man. So amazing stuff going on up here. We'll keep you on tabs with Casey Kerwin and Vicente Salas. That advantage, you can see it on your screen right now, a 1.4 second advantage right now for Vicente Salas, but at the moment, and Matt Danson set the Merchant side by side. Wietendorf right behind him. This is for 4th.
Oh my goodness gracious! And it just keeps on going. I don't think I've ever seen something quite like this. We're well over 15 or 10 minutes past the goal. Oh my goodness! Wietendorf almost loses it off of Indy turn 1. Oh my goodness gracious! They're gonna go into the road course turn 1 right here. They're going to have a little bit of traffic. The 49 car is almost going to lose it in front of them, but that's not going to matter. They keep it together, and they are just on each other's back heels. This is crazy.
Josh, I wish you could see how hard you are blushing right now.
I'm so excited. I am legitimately so excited. This is incredible.
Oh, lap traffic, though, for these guys.
3 wide with the truck.
This is incredible.
Whitendorf to 4th. He just got by Danson.
Oh my. Danson is not having a good points day right now. He is not happy with how this day is going so far.
I'll tell you who's loving this right now. That's James Gibson, who is way behind this battle. He's about a minute back, and he is hearing over the radios what's going on, and he is absolutely loving this. he can't get enough of what these guys are doing. You see the 49. Oh, gonna lock up in front of the Merchant. Wheatendorf and Danson in tow. Danson gonna shoot the gap. Look, 3 wide off of 11.
Danson made contact there with Wheatendorf. It got him a little bit loose, but the person who's real happy right now, the Merchant, he's gonna drive on away. Oh,
Catch
man.
our breath here a little bit with that one there. I mean, that was.
Take another swig of milk.
I got one more. Still got the jug out.
Yeah, I mean, I got another gulp in me.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, we're already going side by side in a turn one. It's already starting back up again.
We just took a break. Just took a break for this, and now they're going back at it again.
This is.
By the way, is
beautiful.
this a good time to remind you guys that we're racing again next week at New Hampshire, which is probably the most awkward, awkward road course that I've ever seen. By the way, be sure not to miss that next week. Because
oh no! Seth missed the corner. Oh man, he's giving up so much time. Oh,
He looks okay, Josh. He's fine.
Oh, he went real wide through that corner. That's gonna give up a lot of time, and he wanted to get away. You want to get away.
Look at Peterson throwing it in on Wheatendorf into the corner. He's gonna make it stick. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, he couldn't quite get the clearance there. What a move by Peterson. Is there something in the contract for Logitech G Alta C Sports to have their cars running together at all times? There's one famous Road to Pro race I remember where literally I think it was Talladega.
Talladega.
Yeah, there was like 8 of them just lined up. So doing the same exact thing here is Demercian just runs really wide going back onto the oval. But man, these guys put on a show no matter what they run in.
Wow.
More committed than TRD in real life to being around each other. I mean, look at the TV time they're getting. All you see is orange and blue and VRS Logitech.
I know that. Oh no! Trupiano just pounded the back of Wheatendorf there. That absolutely just ruined the front of Trupiano's car and the back end of Wheatendorf's car. That's not a way to make friends. Oh my goodness.
You know, I think Liam Sheen might catch these guys at this point. He is about 10 seconds back. I think he has a shot. If this continues, he may have a chance to catch back up.
Seth just lost the corner there again. Is that okay?
That's worse. That's worse. That is worse.
Just
You could do that.
Gave up the spot to Danson there. He missed that corner. Somebody's got to help him find it, give him a map or something.
Now, Blake, we've driven with Seth a lot, in the past. Do you think he did that on purpose? I think he knows they're getting the TV time right now. Oh, and Danson misses it.
Danson misses the guy. I don't know. I don't care at this point. I mean,
it's almost scripted. It feels like with these. Look at.
Oh no!
You can't do that.
That's gonna be a slowdown.
Oh my goodness! This part of the track is so slow. How do you do a slowdown here?
Zach, can I have a request? Our producer Zach Johnson, can we get a roof cam from Wheatendorf if possible? Because I want to see what he's seeing watching these guys do all this.
I think he's seeing triple. Is probably what he's seeing.
There we go.
There you go.
There you see the onboard with John Wheatendorf. I don't think he knows what to do right now. So
they're triplets.
Right behind Seth the Merchant. Is he going to make the move? Let's see. Not enough run right there, I see. So he's going to just.
Oh no, he is going.
He's looking.
Oh no. Oh my goodness gracious.
How would you feel if you're behind this, Blake? What do you do? Like, there's nowhere to make a viable pass right here.
Well, he's not behind him anymore, at least not behind Seth the Merchant. He made that pass, so Wittendorf into 5th in class and overall.
Oh, he's getting crossed over now.
Seth from 3rd to 6th. That's a huge points loss for him. Oh, man. Oh, Peterson missed that corner.
This is, I mean, we can't keep our eyes off of this. This is just too good. But it's also worth saying that there's not really any close battles. Outside of the, or, you know, in the B class or in the C class, there aren't really nose to tail battles right now. So this is pretty much it. But, and also the quality of racing is so good. I don't know how we can look away from what we're seeing right here.
Another thing to note, guys, we're under 10 minutes right now, so I guess time's been flying since we've watched this battle. As we take a look on board from Matt Danson right now, I think he wants to try to drive away from these guys as we see Peterson get very loose to Merchant. I don't know why he's that way. You see that car out of line back there? It's Seth the Merchant just not doing what everyone else is doing off the corner there. But as you were saying, Blake, you know, Vicente Salas still, he has a 2.7 second lead over Casey Kerwin right now. He's the overall leader. Matt Taylor is going to be the B class leader. He's got a very sizable lead over Gary Weaver. And Hunter Reeve in the 044 truck is your leader in C class right now. Jeremy Burrow would be in second, last week's winner. He is well behind as well. So again, this battle is the main attraction right now, and for good reason.
Yes, it is. And if anything else happens, we'll obviously let you know as we come down in the waning moments. It feels like these races always really, the second half just goes by so fast.
It really does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, we get the caution with 30 minutes left. And so you run 5 minutes off under yellow. So it is a shorter stint that they run for the second half. And I think that makes them race a lot harder because Kerwin got into Salas a couple of times. And then the battling that we've seen here amongst the Logitech Alt C Sports competitors have been fantastic as well. What I'm surprised about is how separate that Danson, Peterson, and the Merchant were in the first half. But yet they're all under a blanket in the second half, and even John Wittendorf is right on the back bumper of these two as well. So he's starting to chase those two down in front of him as well.
Absolutely. And I wanted to make one note. All the class leaders right now are sweeping for the fastest points as well. That's Salas, Taylor, and Reeve all have the fastest points or fastest laps right now. So that's a 1 point bonus. 26 points collected today. Going to be a pretty good day right now. If you're Taylor, Reeve, great day to make up some points that you're currently behind, and Salas, well, a great debut day.
The fastest points get a little 1 lap bonus.
Oh, Wittendorf misses the corner.
Oh man,
just flat out did not make it. Wheel hopped, spun the rear around.
If I said fastest points gets a bonus lap, it's fastest laps gets a bonus point. There we go.
You must have wanted to know another issue here. That's Justin Ping, who got into the side of Andy Trupiano there in turn 3. He keeps it going forward. But Wittendorf, in a matter of a couple of moments, he has fallen back. He lost, 2 or 3 spots right there, blowing through turn 1.
That's a tough break for him. He was mixing it up with these guys. He's shown he has plenty of speed to be running up there. So I think the Logitech Gialtis guys can maybe settle this amongst themselves now. But nonetheless, that just shows just how much lap traffic can play a factor in these battles, especially in the higher classes.
The Logitech threesome is back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a written script right now. As soon as they got separated, somebody spun out, and they're all back together now.
If this isn't proof of the simulation, I don't know what is.
We all live in a simulation. How about that? There you go. As the lead right now, as you see on screen, 3.5 seconds splits Vicente Salas and Casey Kerwin. I felt like going into this, Kerwin was going to be the favorite to win. I would have picked him to be my winner for this race.
Well, Josh, I'm gonna say this for Casey. If he didn't just run into Vicente Salas twice, he might have had a better shot at this thing. He just destroyed his car. Then I was just drifting right now.
He's having a good time.
I think that's the biggest difference is Salas got rear end damage, and Kerwin, you can see a little dent on the front. And if you do have damage in this car, that's not where you want it. So perhaps that's the difference. And not to mention, he made some mistakes. Wheel hopped, got his tires heated up. You never want to see that, especially with how these stock cars drive on road courses. You heat up those tires once, we know how hard it is to get those back down to temperature. So I'm sure that's the big difference we're seeing in this run versus the first one that we had between our two top competitors. But also credit to Salas. He made a couple mistakes, got hit a couple times. He was able to stave off one of the best in the business, and looks like he's well on his way to winning this race tonight.
I'm obligated to give Casey a hard time here because I'm like, he obviously just tried to intentionally wreck Vicente for the lead twice and just missed both times. So unbelievable that Casey would stoop that low. But I'm just kidding as well. Big fans of Casey here, but the Gialtis guys are not done yet. They are still battling for until the very end. We're coming down 3 minutes to go. The three guys, Matt Danson, Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, have been the stars of this race right now, the main attraction here. And they could be saving the best for the absolute last right now. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are all maybe 3 wide coming to the line.
I wouldn't be surprised either, Sean. And by the way, we were mentioning Casey Kerwin won an MX5 race today on iRacing at the Charlotte Roval. Is a big lock up there from Christian Peterson. DeMerchant's going to go all the way around him. So Peterson with the mistake, DeMerchant able to take advantage. But guys, guess who else won an MX5 race today?
Who's that?
Park.
Oh, Parker Kligerman. Oh my goodness gracious! Congratulations, Parker. That's awesome to hear. Oh man.
Parker Kligerman 3 for 4 at Lime Rock Park in his lifetime, he says.
Yeah, I mean, he said over and over again how much he wants to run in the Mazdas, and then he hops in one and immediately gets a win. Last lap pass at Lime Rock Park. So congratulations to the boss man.
Well done,
his,
Parker.
Mazda win tonight. We expect many more. So,
you know, I feel like we've absolutely ignored the fact that Vicente has also won the Slide Job 300 last night on eRacr. He's having
bottom split.
Yes, he's having a great weekend so far. If he can secure this, I think we're going to be 2 to go right now. One more time, and then we're going to get the white flag. I would imagine.
Has anyone in eRacr event history won 2 consecutive races?
Yes, Jimmy Mullis actually pulled it off. He won the Hard to Drive 300 and then went and won the Carnomaly 500. So, gonna be up there with some pretty big names.
Well, not over yet, but you know that's
a big name.
Yeah, that's very big.
Very big list of one that Vicente might join here at the end of this thing.
Does Matt Danson count? I mean, he won 2 straight. 2 straight races.
This is true.
That is true.
That is,
so the list is at least 2 right now.
There you go. Oh man, this battle is a little bit spaced out right now, not as intense as we saw it before, but there is some action on track right now. But this is pretty much it. This is what you got going on. Seth the Merchant about a second back, Christian Peterson second behind him. And we're just gonna loop it around here one more time after this lap is completed. Right here.
I think Salas is going to reach the line here before the timer runs out. So this will likely be the white flag here. He's got 30 seconds left. He'll be able to make it to the line. So we'll have 2 more laps for everybody else. One more, or at least coming to the white flag, will be the Space Station Gaming Ford of Vicente Salas. And by the way, a little bit of a nice little gaming bout going on here. Space Station X-Set, nice little head-to-head matchup. I guess Space Station gets the better of this one. Space Station pretty much led that whole Slide Job 300 last night, whether it was Vicente or Colin Bowden. He led a good portion of that race. So Space Station flexing the muscles here.
The only thing that stopped Colin Bowden from winning last night was him speeding and then sliding through his pit box and then almost self-spinning every lap. So I got to give Colin a hard time too. He's a teammate over at Dead Zone Racing with us, so always love giving him a hard time.
Oh my goodness!
But,
James Gibson almost lost it in front of Matt Danson there, but they're going to keep it going.
Gibson has had a rough night as well. So I feel like ever since he tried to make that 3 wide move at the start of the race, it's just been all downhill from there for him. So very, very loose right now, as we see in the number 82 Valvoline Camaro. Got some damage. So this is a week where he's going to have to probably brush this one off and go and re-rack it for next week in New Hampshire. And he's spinning. Yep.
I can't. What? Oh, you hate to see that. We were just talking about him making it, and he's drifting.
He's having a good time.
I think Kerwin's doing the same thing, kind of leaving tire marks back, but it's not going to matter. Off of turn 12 and into the final corner in turn 13. He has led every lap today. Vicente Salas got off a pit road, held off a hard-charging Casey Kerwin, and Vicente Salas will win round number 3 of the eRacr Roval Racing Series, and he will take the checkered flag here at the Brickyard over Casey Kerwin. What looks like is going to be Matt Danson leading that Logitech Altus Esports train, as Seth the Merchant putting on a nice little show here for the fans.
He didn't wreck it that time.
Hey,
there he goes.
There it is.
he's gonna save that. I'll save it for him.
Man.
But off of entering turn 13 now, our B-class leader, Matt Taylor, making it 2 in a row.
That's a good...
So here he comes off of turn 13.
eRacr sponsored car. You have to cheer for it. As Gibson almost washing up and out of shape there. So Matt Taylor going to make it 2 in a row as Gibson and Sheen wreck across the line. But also, that is 9th overall for Matt Taylor. E-class. 10th overall is going to go to Hunter Reeve. It looks like without any issues, Hunter Reeve well ahead of his counterpart in Jeremy Burrow. And it looks like Hunter Reeve has the win for C-Class. So Vicente Salas, Matt Taylor, and Hunter Reeve here at Indianapolis says...
Arthur Reimer is just spinning again. There we go. Good avoidance, Hunter.
Nice job as Hunter crosses the line, and that will make up your 3 winners here at the Brickyard tonight. That was something, guys. That A-class battle. This is what I love about this series, is that every week we see a new class, a new battle, new drivers, always putting on a great show. If they're not all 3 putting on a great show, we've seen a lot of great drifts here tonight as well. Vicente doing his job, not spinning out like Seth the Merchant did.
Yeah. Does Seth get points for the drift even though he spun out? I don't think we can give it to him for having the best drift.
I don't know if we can get style points there.
Definitely not.
Now, I wonder when you tell these guys, because we're going to let them catch up and park here at the start-finish line, we got to see which one burns out on the bricks, because you're not supposed to do that.
You can't do that. Those things are old.
He had a hood not too long ago. Where'd it go?
Dylan Nadwadney is not going to like getting those pictures of a car with no hood, so I'm sure Matt doesn't appreciate that either.
Oh man, as we see the 044 working their way.
Grid penalty next week.
Maybe.
Oh man.
Well, they had backup cars for the Firecracker if you're wrecked in qualifying, so who knows?
Man. The Camaro logo even looks sad. It looks like it's frowning.
It really does, actually. That's pretty good.
I wonder if there's a line at the bathroom here in Indianapolis.
I couldn't find the restroom in the infield there, unlike Homestead last night. Did you guys see that, by the way? That thing was very long. I don't know how
that was...
Sat there for 4 hours.
There in 5 hours.
I know, that's ridiculous. But here comes Hunter Reeve, our Ballista Pack C-Class winner. Going to pull up alongside their B and A-Class winners. There we go.
All right, smile, say cheese.
All right, photographers, do your thing.
All right, I'm gonna see who's gonna do it. Will all 3 of them do it?
That would be. There goes one. Oh, not as coordinated.
They all
as we thought.
3 burned out across the bricks. Jeez, rookies.
It's not good.
Last time we get invited here.
Yep.
I mean, they do realize they have to kiss that later. I mean, they're just laying rubber down on it.
They could just see where there's no rubber. But give credit to these guys, though. Indy is not an easy track to do burnouts at, because I've won.
When there's 3 of them doing it at the same time.
I've won so many times here. I know just how difficult it is to burn out. but it's very narrow. But I gotta give him credit there, not hitting the wall. I say that as Hunter Reeve hits it, so never mind.
Well, don't worry. We're going to be running the road course for a while, I think, Sean. So you won't have to worry about that problem for probably a very long time.
Yeah, at least for me. So that's definitely I don't have to worry about that at all. So I think our winners are slowly filing in now.
Now let's take a look at the results, and then we will get to our overall leader. Working our way. Here we go.
There we go.
Vicente Salas, overall winner. Casey Kerwin. Don't ignore the -1 lap on the right hand side. They were all on the same lap. He was not that dominating. It was dominating, but it wasn't that dominating. Casey Kerwin second, Matt Danson third, Seth the Merchant fourth, Christian Peterson, Andy Trupiano sixth, John Wieterdorf seventh, Liam Sheen eighth, Matt Taylor winner for the B class and 9th overall, and then our winner of our Ballistic Pack C class is Hunter Reeve and 10th overall.
11th will go to Gary Weaver. Jeremy Barreau, again, he finished second in that C class. He finishes in 12th. 13th to Christopher Collin. 14th was Ryan Sabelski. 15th, DG. I want to call him DJ Swiss so bad. I feel bad for him because I bet his whole life he's been called DJ Swiss. But DG Swiss finishes up in the 15th position. 16th to Clint Roberts. 17th, James Gibson. Corey Deal finishes in 18th. 19th to Arthur Reimer. And Justin Malillo rounds out the top 20, Sean.
And the rest of the field, 21st, Brandon Watkins, Dustin Ping. We saw him have numerous difficulties on the track tonight. He will bring it home 22nd. 23rd overall goes to Riley Dunn. He'll finish 9th overall in class. Lucas Cram will finish 24th, 10th in class overall. David Grantham, a surprise, probably going to be a drop week for him. So by far his worst outing of the season. He's going to look to rebound next week in New Hampshire. He'll finish 25th overall, 10th in class. Vinnie McDonald, 26th. Cole Woody, 27th. Philip Bupp did not see a lap. He'll finish 28th. And Thomas Fensler did not see a lap either. He will round out the field in 29th.
That'll do it for your full field results, but let's go ahead and catch up with some winners here tonight. Back-to-back nights, Vicente Salas ends up in victory lane here on eRacr, and this time it was a hard-fought battle with Casey Kerwin. So first off, I want to ask you about that battle because you two had to kind of exchange some blows there. How was it from the seat of your race car?
Honestly, that was an absolute blast. I didn't expect Casey to go in for some of those, but I think when we got side by side, we each trust each other enough to race hard and race well. So I had a great time. It was awesome.
Well, just kind of talk about this track. I know you love these road courses, but what is it about this track that maybe you like more than others, or what makes it unique and challenging?
I think what makes it unique is how this surface is a little bit different than others, and the way the track flows is just so much different than other tracks. I think the way you have to attack it and the way you learn it just differs so much from everywhere else, and it makes it really, really fun because, it's different.
It is as well. And, one other track that we may be visiting, I don't know if you'll be able to make it, but New Hampshire, the Roval at New Hampshire. Have you ever run that track before? And if so, we might see you next week to do it once again.
I will try my best to be there. The last time and the only time I have ran that track was in a legend car. So running it in a bigger stock car, definitely will be fun.
It should be, Vicente, but we want to congratulate you on winning A-Class tonight. Debut for the eRacr Roval Racing Series, and it puts you in victory lane. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Vicente Salas is your overall winner tonight. Let's see if there are some other winners on standby. I believe there are. Matt Taylor, he's your B-Class winner. He's caught up with Sean Butler.
Matt, so it looked like it was a pretty good practice session here for you for the second half of this thing. 2 in a row for you. So tell us what contributed to your win here tonight.
I think part of it was just actually a really difficult setup. Coming up onto the oval and through that, and any bump would just kick the rear end out almost beyond control. So being off the throttle over the bumps and then just pedaling it through the oval section was key to basically keeping the car from coming out from under you. And I think doing that was a big part in the victory tonight.
Yeah, Josh touched on it earlier. He mentioned you both spoke a little bit about this. So We saw the difficulty just with keeping these cars underneath you guys. So how difficult was it to kind of pass? We saw you guys, where you and Gary Weaver were kind of having a little bit of a battle on the racetrack there. What was the best passing zone, would you say, that you noticed on this track tonight?
Kind of, at least in the Xfinity car, I think maybe into turn one was a really good spot, but a lot of that was just if a guy made a mistake or you slipped the rears a little too much, you could get that run in several of the corners and set up well. So really the most important part of that was just keeping the car under you.
Definitely, it looked like it, but you were able to cruise on to your second straight win. Now, New Hampshire next week. Have you had a little bit of an experience at that track? And if so, a lot more narrow, a lot of more elevation changes at this track. So how do you feel you can fare next week to make it 3 in a row?
I feel good, I guess, but I know what the track is. I've never driven it, and from what I've seen of it, it looks, like you said, extremely narrow, and it's going to be really interesting in the stock car. So should be fun.
Definitely is. So I'll give you this, one of the more fun road courses in these cars. Takes a bit of getting used to, but I think you'll do just fine on these. But Matt Mill, we'll let you go celebrate your win. Congratulations, and I will see you next week in New Hampshire.
Thank you.
And that's going to be Matt Taylor. I went ahead and caught up here with Hunter Reeve for the Ballistic Pack C-Class winner here. He got the Operation Motorsport Toyota Tundra into victory lane. How sweet is the milk here, Hunter?
It's pretty good, not going to lie. Compared to last week, I didn't do so well, so pretty happy winning here.
Absolutely. You were 5th in points coming into tonight. Going to be a winner. That's definitely going to help your points battle. You know, what are you looking forward to going into New Hampshire? You think you're going to be good there? You going to carry this momentum? How does it feel?
This class has got a lot of fast guys in it. I think in practice, I think the top 5 is separated by a few hundredths, so it's going to be close. So I'll do my best, but we'll see. I mean, there's, like I said, they're fast. There's a lot of fast guys here, so.
Absolutely. Going into the halfway break, what were your thoughts and feelings? You thought you had this in the bag? Where were you at in your mind?
I felt like it was my race to lose. Tire management, I think, was key to this for at least the trucks. I don't know about the Cup cars and Xfinity cars, but for trucks, I felt if you didn't keep the tires underneath you, you were going backwards fast.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on winning. Do you have anyone to thank?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks to Ballistic Packs for sponsoring the C-Class. Big shout out to Operation Motorsports and Tooth Autosport.
There you go. There's our winner of the Ballistic Pack C-Class. Gonna send it back over to Blake and close out this show.
Guys, I really don't think that we've had one week where we haven't been just thoroughly entertained. And this week was another one. Again, you put multiple classes on the same course, and there's just always something going on. I think that's just one thing we figured out about this series, Sean. There's always something happening, and there's just always battles, always ways for drivers to try and mix it up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the lap traffic definitely poses new and unique ways to kind of throw a little monkey wrench into these races for our leaders, for sure. But this race was a complete 180 pretty much from the last race. We saw in all 3 classes where there were a bunch of different battles going on, especially for the class leads, and all the races were relatively close. This one, not so much. I mean, the B and C classes for sure got really spread out. So we saw those guys pretty much, as I was telling Matt, just had a pretty much glorified practice session for this one. But the A class, complete opposite. This was some of the most exciting racing we've seen in the series so far. I mean, those guys put on a heck of a show. So big shout out to the Logitech D'Altis guys for doing that. But next week, we keep talking about it at New Hampshire, guys. That track is one of the most well-liked Rovals on the service. If you haven't seen it before, if you're on iRacing, go and do some practice laps on it. Just trying to get around there by yourself is a challenge in and of itself. I can't imagine with a full field of 3 classes how it's going to be with these guys, but they'll find a way. They'll find a way for sure.
They will, and I think Vicente had a really good point right there that track, I don't necessarily think, Josh, that it's built for stock cars. So This track definitely built for really any car, any track. It's wide enough that you can fit a lot of racing in there. New Hampshire, that is not going to be the case next week. It's going to be much more like Pocono, very narrow, and I mean, we Vicente ran a Legends car there, not a big old stock car or truck or anything like that. So it's going to be very tight confines in New Hampshire next week.
It's going to be a tight race. That is absolutely for certain. I mean, I don't know. You're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to New Hampshire. It's a shame that iRacing hasn't added rain just yet, because it would be great to race that track in the rain, especially since we went there so recently in real life and had a little bit of rain. But, I'm excited about next week. As everyone saw tonight, I love awesome racing. I get so excited about it, and I just hope that this momentum from this week can carry on into next week at New Hampshire next Saturday.
Well, it's carried on through all 3 weeks. I don't think we have to worry about whether it's going to carry over, just how much of it will next week at New Hampshire. But we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight for the eRacr Roval Racing Series. It has been an absolute pleasure to do these last 3 weeks, and we know that there is more to come in the Saturdays ahead. So for my broadcast partners, Josh Mendoza, Sean Butler, and Zach Johnson, our wonderful producer, I am Blake McCandless saying so long for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Congratulations to your 3 winners tonight, Vicente Salas, Matt Taylor, and Hunter Reeve. We'll see you again to do it all over again next week.